Nolan Wells disappeared suddenly and quickly for everyone. He went with his friends to relax on an island, but the friends returned on the boat without him. At the moment, many versions are circulating on the internet about where Nolan could have disappeared. Some think that an accident occurred and Nolan is gone. The friends know everything, but are afraid to admit it because of the public backlash. Some think a conflict occurred between the friends and they're to blame for Nolan being gone. And some even think that Nolan took his own life and had been planning it for a long time. It's just that a convenient opportunity arose. The body of 18-year-old Nolan Xavier Wells was found in the water near Horn Island on the morning of July 6th. He was reported missing on the night of July 4th. This happened after he didn't return from a boat trip with friends. In the days following Nolan's death, his family hired attorney Ben Crump, whose team is conducting an independent investigation. They said this was because they were troubled by contradictions in the case and a lack of information from investigators. The cause and manner of Nolan's death have not been disclosed. The results of the independent autopsy requested by Crump's team, as well as the results of the initial autopsy conducted by the Mississippi State Medical Examiner, are not yet available. Jackson County investigators initially stated that they suspect Nolan drowned, but they are still searching for answers, and the investigation is ongoing. From press conferences demanding transparency, to discussions about racial dynamics in the US, speculation on social media, and AI-generated photos and videos circulating online, this case has attracted national attention and continues to develop every day. A holiday, when a group of friends could just relax, turned into a real nightmare. But what's even scarier, from the first days of the investigation, frightening inconsistencies have emerged. The family and witnesses are sure the police are hiding facts that could shed light on this tragedy. Let's try to reconstruct the timeline of events, exactly how Nolan disappeared. And you, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new videos. We're starting. Friday, July 3rd. Nolan's mother, Kristen Wansley, said that the last time she heard from Nolan was on July 3rd. July 3rd, he made dinner for his parents before heading to a friend's house, where he stayed overnight. Nolan said, "Hey mom, I'm about to head out, I love you," and then kissed and hugged her before leaving, Wansley said. Saturday, July 4th, Nolan went to Horn Island with a group of friends to celebrate Independence Day. The boat departed from a private dock in the Ocean Springs area. After that, the boat arrived at Horn Island at 11:14 a.m. Nolan was last seen near the island around 3 o'clock p.m. Nolan's friends also said they last saw him around 3 o'clock p.m. on July 4th on Horn Island. Data obtained by CBS confirms that the boat left the island at 4:31 p.m. Nolan did not return on the same boat as the group. From what we understand, he decided to stay there, Sheriff Ledbetter told ABC. Jackson County Chancery Court Judge Ashley Cole is Warren's stepmother, one of the guys who was on the boat with Nolan. July 4th. Cole said that Warren told her that Nolan really did decide to stay, and said the guys left earlier because the boat started having problems and was taking on water. On July 16th, ABC released audio recordings from July 4th, where you can hear one of the teenagers on the boat calling a private towing company around 4 o'clock p.m. and saying, "We're sinking, can you come please?" The dispatcher then asked, "Is everyone on board? And is everyone otherwise okay?" The caller replied, yes, everyone is on board." Crump said that one of the contradictions is that the boys on the boat claims that Nolan was going to stay and talk to the girl, but the girl said that Nolan told her he was going back to the boat. "They're not saying the same thing," Crump said. "One of them's telling the truth, the other isn't. We need to get to the bottom of this." Crump mentioned a video of the alleged argument on the island that's been circulating on social media, in which, according to him, you can hear Nolan saying, "Give me my damn phone. What the hell are you doing?" Think about this. On one hand, a panicked call from teenagers where they report that their whole group is drowning. This is important. They claim that they were all on board. On the other hand, the statement that Nolan voluntarily stayed on the island to talk to his girlfriend, who actually denies all of this. And these aren't just minor disagreements, it's a clear attempt to adjust events as is convenient. Convenient for someone, However, on July 13th, Trace Aston Shepherd, a friend of Nolan's, came forward and told ABC that it was actually him yelling in the video. The Jackson County Sheriff's Office hasn't confirmed that a fight took place on the island, but has asked anyone who has video or photos of the alleged altercation to contact them. The data confirms that after departing from Horn Island around 4:30 p.m., the boat entered Fort Bayou at about 5:52 p.m. and then returned to the dock at 6:06 p.m. It is unclear which parts of the route the boat was towed. Later that same night, the boat left for the Fort Bayou boat station at 7:19 p.m., was taken out of the water and transported overland to its owner's home in Biloxi. On July 9th, the Coast Guard reported that Nolan's friend contacted the agency around 11 o'clock p.m. on the night of July 4th. The Coast Guard did not disclose any other information about this call, but stated that it did not require Coast Guard assistance. Kristen Wansley said that around 11:07 p.m. She received a call from Nolan Warren's friend who had been with him on the boat. She did not go into detail about what was said during the call. Wansley said that she then called her friend, whose two sons are friends with Nolan, and asked if they had seen him. They hadn't seen him, but they checked his location on Snapchat. Wansley said she checked Nolan's location on Life 360, and it showed something completely different from Snapchat. It showed that his phone had returned to land. Wansley said she made calls to local law enforcement around midnight, and after some back and forth between different agencies due to confusion over jurisdiction, since the island is in the Mississippi Sound, the Jackson County Sheriff's Office opened a case. Later that same night, Nolan's parents met with a sheriff's deputy in a McDonald's parking lot and told him everything they knew at that point. That night, Wansley's friend went to pick up Nolan's phone from a house. From Nolan's friend, and Nolan's father, Elmore Wansley, went to pick up the car keys and the car from another friend's house. The parents say they had trouble getting these things back. When they got Nolan's phone back, Christian Wansley said that she and her sister looked through it. Wansley said that there were no photos or videos from that day in Nolan's Snapchat, which was strange for him because he usually records and posts everything he can. This made Kristen believe that something might have been deleted. Oddities with geolocation, law enforcement confusion over jurisdiction, and finally, problems when the parents want to collect Nolan's personal belongings. But what's most frightening and alarming is that very same cleared social media profile. The wiped phone history, camera roll, and Snapchat clearly indicate that someone wanted to hide evidence. Even though Nolan usually filmed everything, it's possible that his friends are the ones involved in Nolan's disappearance. Sunday, July 5th. On the morning of July 5th, Nolan's father, Elmore Wansley, says he went to the island by boat with Nolan's football coach to search for his body. At 12:26, the Coast Guard sector, Mobile reported that they received a request for assistance from the GCSO in searching for a missing person in the vicinity of Horn Island. The Coast Guard reported that an urgent marine information radio broadcast was issued, and a helicopter was dispatched to survey the area. At 12:31, GCSO issued a press release stating that a search was underway for Nolan Wells. He was last seen on Horn Island on Saturday, July 4th, wearing blue swim trunks, no shirt, and sunglasses. At 5:54 p.m., GCSO set up a command post at the Lake Mars boat launch. Monday, July 6th, the plane took off just before 6 a.m. on Monday. Search boats were deployed again, with the last vessels heading out just before 8 a.m. Around 8:45, Sheriff Ledbetter confirmed that authorities received a call reporting a body. The body was discovered by a U.S. Park Service ranger. Nolan's family was asked to come to the Lake Mars boat launch, where they were met by Sheriff Ledbetter and Coroner Bruce Lind. A little later, at 11 a.m., the family was taken to the coroner's office to identify the body. Shortly before 1 o'clock p.m., Nolan's family confirmed his death on social media, Tuesday, July 7th. It was then revealed that Nolan's family had hired world-renowned civil rights and personal injury attorney Ben Crump, calling for a thorough and transparent investigation into how Nolan died. Nolan's autopsy took place on Tuesday. Around 2 o'clock p.m., on Tuesday, Coroner Bruce Lind confirmed that the body found was Nolan's, according to dental records. A little later, the GCSO released a press statement asking anyone with original photos, videos, or eyewitness accounts related to Nolan Wells or any unusual activity on Horn Island on July 4th to contact him. On Tuesday, Ashley Cole made a post on Facebook saying that her family is mourning together with the family. Nolan's and that she wanted to make a post to dispel some rumors with facts. Cole said that she initially deactivated her Facebook account out of concern for her and her family's safety. "We do not think it is appropriate for photos of our underage children to be spread across the internet, creating potential threats to their safety," Cole said. The parent of Nolan Wells' friend, an NAACP leader, spoke out about the rumors on social media. Cole said that she graduated from school together with Nolan's mother and that they are from the same community. "I have the deepest respect for her and for the entire Wells family," Cole said. "We mourn Nolan's loss together with them. Our prayers have been and will remain with them." Cole said that her son is fully cooperating with law enforcement. Jackson County NAACP President Curly Clark stated that the NAACP is closely monitoring the investigation to ensure there is no racial discrimination, but he hopes that people won't jump to their own conclusions before the investigation is complete. The Nolan Wells case instantly grew beyond local proportions. The involvement of attorney Ben Crump, attention from human rights organizations, the racial context, and the influx of death threats show how much the situation has escalated. In this atmosphere of general mistrust, it's crucial for law enforcement to remain impartial in this case. Wednesday, July 8th. Attorney Ben Crump appeared on ABC News Live on Wednesday, sharing the family's concerns about law enforcement in South Mississippi investigating a case involving a young black man, where young white students might be seen as having some degree of guilt. Crump said that Nolan's body will be flown to Washington, D.C. for an independent autopsy. Crump also reported that investigators from his team are interviewing witnesses. Crump said that the results of the independent autopsy are expected on Friday. Thursday, July 9th. Attorney Ben Crump sent out a press release stating that a press conference is scheduled for 11 o'clock a.m. Central Time on Friday in New York, where he will call for a full, transparent, and urgent investigation. Crump said he will be joined by Nolan's family and Reverend Al Sharpton. Nolan Wells' family will hold a press conference with Ben Crump and Reverend Al Sharpton, as an independent autopsy has been ordered. On the evening of July 9th, Ashley Cole made another post on Facebook. In it, she shared that she and her family are receiving numerous death threats online, posting screenshots of these threats. In her post, Cole says that her family has not had the opportunity to speak with the Wells-Wansley family or their attorney, but they are willing to communicate with them directly. Friday, July 10th. Nolan's parents, Christine and Elmore Wansley, spoke with Good Morning America, along with Crump. His mother and father said they do not believe that Nolan would have voluntarily separated from his group. "We always taught him, if you go with the group, you stay with the group," said Elmore Wansley. "If you went as 5, you come back as 5. Don't separate from the group. He always said, 'Yes, sir.' So he knew he needed to stay with his group." Later that same morning, the family held a press conference in New York with Crump and Reverend Al Sharpton. During the hour-long press conference, the family spoke in detail about the moment they learned their son was missing and what happened afterward. Crump said that the results of the independent autopsy in Washington, D.C. were expected on Friday, but were delayed due to flight cancellations. Crump said that his team will announce those results as soon as they have them. Sunday, July 12th. Nolan's mother, Kristen Wansley, once again called on anyone who has information, photos, or videos from Horn Island on July 4th to share them with law enforcement and her legal team. Monday, July 13th. On Good Morning America, Trace Eston Shepard, a friend of Nolan's, spoke about the viral video that investigators were reviewing. Many people were worried that the video showed Nolan during the conflict, but Shepard said that wasn't the case. "This is the video I'm talking about, and that's me yelling," Shepard said. Tuesday, July 14th. After the previous conversation between the management of the Coliseum and the Mississippi Coast Convention Center and Nolan's family. Regarding the funeral arrangements, at this location, officials announced on Tuesday that the family would be going in a different direction. Sam Voisin, executive director of the Coliseum, made a statement. "On behalf of the Coliseum and the Mississippi Coast Convention Center, we extend our deepest condolences to the family, friends, and everyone mourning the loss of Nolan Wells. After meeting with representatives of the Wells family, we support their decision not to hold the service here. Nolan Wells' funeral will not be held at the Coliseum and Mississippi Coast Convention Center on Monday, July 20th, as previously discussed. We appreciate the opportunity to work with her and the entire family with the utmost respect. Throughout this process, we remain committed to supporting them and our community during this difficult time. Our thoughts and prayers are with the family as they continue to organize events in his memory." Jackson County District Attorney Angel Myers McIlrath stated that she plans to meet with Nolan's parents on Wednesday. This will be the first time since his body was found. District Attorney McGrath will ultimately decide whether the death of the 18-year-old constitutes a criminal offense. Myers-McCorath said that the meeting with the Wells family is intended to provide victim services and help them navigate the death investigation process. She regularly meets with the families of deceased children. Nolan's family and attorneys Ben Crump and Eric Hertz met with the county district attorney. Jackson Angel Myers McGrath on Wednesday morning. After the meeting, a press conference was held in front of the Jackson County Courthouse. Crump said that once the Jackson County Sheriff's Office completes its investigation into Nolan's death, the district attorney's office will present the case to a grand jury. This is standard procedure for most unnatural or suspicious deaths in the county. Crump also stated that his team and Jackson County investigators will conduct a joint examination of the phone. Nolan's phone, which is in his team's possession. After the press conference, a reporter asked about an image of the alleged pool party circulating online. Crump's page shared it on Instagram, and Crump said that his team shares absolutely everything to encourage more people to come forward. Just because we repost something doesn't mean we're confirming anything, Crump said. The sheriff's office did not comment on the photo of the pool party, but Trace Easton Shepard told Rolling Stone that the party in question actually took place on Saturday, June 27th, during the day on July 15. Sheriff Ledbetter confirmed that the Federal Bureau of Investigation is assisting his office in reviewing the digital evidence collected so far. Ledbetter said there's nothing unusual about this, since Horn Island is federal land, and the sheriff's office often works with the FBI. Sheriff Ledbetter also confirmed that more than 60 witnesses have been interviewed so far, including the 3 friends who went boating with Nolan. On the evening of July 15th, CBS released GPS data on the boat's movements from July 4th, obtained from the MDMR. Thursday, July 16th, ABC published an audio recording from July 4th, when a teenager who was on the boat with Nolan called a private towing company to report that the boat was sinking. In an interview with ABC, Sheriff Ledbetter expressed gratitude to the public for sharing information, and once again urged anyone who thinks they might have information to come forward. The FBI is joining the investigation. Dozens of witnesses are being interviewed, and GPS data from the boat is being analyzed. However, key elements, the results of the official and independent autopsies, for some reason have still not been made public. We see colossal pressure from the public, as well as a huge amount of digital data that could help in the investigation. But without the key elements, we will never know exactly how Nolan died. Kristen Wansley said that her son Nolan was the kindest soul who loved everyone and was never a stranger to anyone. "Nolan is the most cheerful child in our family," said his father, Elmore Wansley, adding that Nolan's siblings are suffering deeply. At the July 10th press conference, both parents recalled a touching story about a time when they were in the middle of an argument and Nolan ran into the room in his diaper and started dancing for them to ease the tension. Nolan played football at Ocean Springs High School and at Southwest Mississippi Community College. On National Signing Day in 2025, Nolan spoke with WLOX and called it a blessing to have the opportunity to continue his football career at Southwest Mississippi Community College and to share this moment with my teammates. "It's truly a blessing to be here with some of my best friends and teammates. And most of us are going to college together. It's just a real blessing," Nolan said. February 5th, 2025. "We are devastated by Nolan's passing," said Jake Bramlett, head football coach at Ocean Springs. "He was the kind of son, teammate, friend, and student that every coach hopes to have in their program. Nolan was so much more than just an outstanding football player. He carried himself with humility, treated others with respect, worked hard, and led by personal example. His character spoke louder than his achievements, and he was deeply loved by his teammates and coaches. Our football family mourns together with Nolan's parents, his family, friends, classmates, teammates, and everyone who loved him. Nolan Wells is remembered for the indelible mark he left on the South Mississippi community. Nolan was an outstanding student, teammate, and brother," said Ocean Springs High School principal Dr. Jacob Dykes. "He will be remembered as an exceptionally kind and hard-working young man who made a lasting impression on his teachers, coaches, teammates, and the community. Our thoughts are with his family and the many people whose lives he touched so deeply. The entire Southwest family is heartbroken as we mourn the tragic loss of Nolan Wells," said Dr. Jacob Stephen Bishop, president of Southwest Mississippi Community College. "We remember Nolan as a respected young man who was very well liked by his friends, teachers, and staff. We loved Nolan, and he will be deeply missed in so many ways. Our constant prayers will be with the Wells family now and in the days to come. Professional counselors and local clergy will be available to support teammates and friends when they return to campus. May God guide and watch over everyone involved during this difficult time. Behind the dry dates of reports and statements from lawyers lies a real family tragedy. A family that lost their beloved, cheerful child, who was also a wonderful athlete. Nolan Wells left a deep mark on the lives of his family and friends, and I think they won't stop until they get truth and justice in this case. I will continue to follow this case and will likely release a follow-up to this video. That is, a second part. Share your opinion in the comments. What do you think really happened on that very island where Nolan Wells passed away? I'll be very interested to read it. Well, that's all for today. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. See y'all very soon. Bye, everyone.